Who's ready? Let's do this! Happy Pride, Strait Area!
If the turnout on a rainy Monday evening in June was any indication, hundreds of people were ready for Port Hawkesbury to host its first official Pride March and for the first such event to take place in the Strait region. According to organizers, there were nearly 300 people either taking part in the actual march or providing support and honking horns from nearby parked cars. And they came from communities as diverse as Mabu, Sydney, St. Peter's, Isle Madame, Antigonish, and even Truro, where a long-time battle had waged between local residents and Mayor Bill Mills to have a pride flag flown at Truro Town Hall. Knowing that the town of Port Hawkesbury had been on board with her efforts over the 8 days it took to organize the rally, Port Hawkesbury activist Taylor LINLOFF was at times overcome with emotion while speaking to the crowd assembled just outside the Port Hawkesbury Civic Centre. The event took place 51 years and 1 day after the Stonewall riots that had taken place in New York City and are considered the beginning of the modern Pride movement. That juxtaposition of events led to an emotional and fiery reaction from LINLOFF as she addressed the crowd in her opening remarks.
Because of a riot against police brutality, transphobia, and homophobia, only 51 years later, I am able to stand proudly in front of you and feel safe saying that my name is Taylor LINLOFF and I am proudly queer. I organized this march on a leap of faith because I grew up as a queer youth in the autism spectrum in Port Hawkesbury. I know how isolating it can be to not be able to have the same milestones growing up and feel like the odd one out and shamed by your peers. But hey, I'm here, I'm loud, and I'm queer, and you're gonna have to get used to it. But I'm not doing this for me. You can tell me whatever you want, you can tell me I'm going to hell, I don't care. All of us here today, we are doing this for all the parents and kids in the Strait Area who have had to move to Halifax and the cities to avoid social persecution and beatings. We're doing this for the trans teenagers who change their name and bravely walk into the correct bathroom stalls over at Sarek every single day. We're doing this for an adopted kid or two dads who get told that they're not a real family. We're doing this for the two-spirit individuals building community and identity despite the erasure and racism and colonialism they still face. Heck, you know what? We're doing this for the 70-year-old grand-mère who lives down West Sterashad who's watching TV bingo trying to figure out how to tell her family she's a lesbian. We love her too. Yes, I'll say it, Mayor Brenda recently received disparaging comments for having the supposed audacity to fly the pride flag, but like Stonewall, the flag or even this march is not the end game. The end result has to be community involvement, support, acceptance, and liberation. The Compton cafeteria riot occurred only 3 years before Stonewall in response to trans patrons being refused service. And in comparison, NSCC held Pride Day here in 2018 to show their support for the student population, and Strait Area Queer Prom started last year as a means to have a safe space for LGBTQ youth. The solidarity of being here, as well as being part of the previous and future events, proudly yells that there is no place for homophobia or transphobia within the Strait Area or Eastern Nova Scotia. We need to keep moving forward and making progress because LGBTQ activism is grassroots work. It must keep the momentum to keep growing. So to those of you who, like me, fall under the umbrella of Rainbow, take all of this as a message. All of you right now, take a look around. Look who has come to support you, whether it be one-on-one support, online advocacy, or right here in 2-meter social distancing, all wearing masks. Take this as a message that whether you are out and proud or still closeted, though I hope the support today helps you find the courage to be authentically yourself from here on. You are seen, you are respected, you are loved. Be proud.
Strait Area Pride Rally attendees and organizers also felt the love from Port Hawkesbury Mayor Brenda CHISHOLM-BEATON. Only days earlier, she had received a complaint from a town resident about flying the pride flag just outside the Port Hawkesbury Civic Centre. She responded by going online with a picture of her pride pin from the Nova Scotia Community College. On this night, Mayor CHISHOLM-BEATON didn't hold back in her message of acceptance for the LGBTQI community.
It makes me so proud to be a Pride ally. I know this rally and march is one of many we will have in the future. Today is about hearing and learning from LGBTQ+ and Two-Spirit community members. Today is about showing our support as well in our Pride community. Today is about showing up. Today is about a promise to keep showing up each and every time to support Pride. As Mayor, I am here to listen and learn. How can our town help with more opportunities to celebrate and support Pride initiatives? And I believe we can take this a step further. Beside me is Stephen GOOGOO, Band Councillor, and Chief Rod GOOGOO of WEKOOMA'Q First Nations. Their presence here today leads me to believe that we can do more regionally, together, to help celebrate Pride initiatives. Stephen, Rod, and I believe we are stronger when we work together. I'm excited for our future when all of our communities all across WEKOOMA'Q and Cape Breton create welcoming spaces for LGBTQ+ and Two-Spirit citizens. But we have to do more than hope that this happens. We need to promise and plan to make it happen. What that promise and that plan looks like needs to be a collaboration between our LGBTQ+ and Two-Spirit communities and citizens, our leadership, and our communities. Today, thanks to Taylor, who I am so very proud of, we've taken this important first step.
Words of encouragement also came from Cape Breton CASO MP Mike Kelloway.
Folks, the amount of time and effort that it takes to put something like this together, it takes usually months, and it's taken Taylor along with her colleagues and the mayor and other folks about a week. So please give it up for Taylor. It's an amazing thing she's done here. I'll be brief. First of all, thank you for coming. Thank you for inviting me. When I think of a march like this, this march, in this case, I think about a couple of things and what it symbolizes. It symbolizes acceptance, it symbolizes tolerance, it symbolizes that you are an ally for others, but really it symbolizes love. And we love everyone in Cape Breton CASO, and tonight you're showing that no matter who you are, where you come from, that you are loved by the people of this riding, of this province, and this country. And that's a pretty special thing. Finally, I'll say, Taylor made a good point. It's important to be an ally and to come to events like this, but what's even more important is to continue to be an ally every day of your life, to support those that need your support, to accept those that undoubtedly need our support. And tonight is emblematic and it is symbolic of what we need to do as a country, is that we love everyone, we accept everyone. It's going to take some work, obviously, but you know what? It's worth it, it's needed, and it starts tonight. Thank you so much.
We are located in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq.
A strong Indigenous presence also filled the Strait Area Pride Rally, with participants coming from regions as diverse as Budladek, Wagmatcook, and Waikoba. Port Hawkesbury Pride activist Bryson Sillaboy gave an official land acknowledgement before speaking about his own experiences growing up on Shubenacadie First Nation.
I grew up in Shubenacadie, where the site of the residential school was. My people in Shubenacadie, most of us went there, and we suffered in that school. So it's great to see support here from our chiefs, especially for us Two-Spirit people. because we've been here for a long time, and we're still here. We are in a resurgence to bring back our culture, bring back who we were. And it's so great to see all these young children here and all of the Mi'kmaq that are here to support us during this. A word that we can all learn together is Get Me Delsi, which means I am proud.
The concept of being proud took on special meaning for two guests from WEKOOMA'Q First Nation. Chief Rod GOOGOO and his son, band councillor Stephen Michael GOOGOO, both addressed the need to recognize the history of the two-spirit concept within Indigenous communities and how LGBTQ communities have often played a key role in the health and safety of First Nations people. But at the same time, Chief GOOGOO and his son, band councillor GOOGOO, were also there to show some support for family members who are part of the LGBTQ community as well.
I'm here today, not as the proud chief of WEKOOMA'Q, but I'm here today as a proud dad. Dad, to support my child on her journey, which I know is not going to be that easy at times, but I'm here to support my child. I'm a proud dad, and I'm a very proud chief of our community. A little history lesson. When your ancestors arrived here 500 years ago, you brought a Bible that told us, the Mi'kmaq, who have walked on these lands for 12,500 years. My people, we have walked on these lands 12,500 years based on archaeological findings. And your Bible told us that we are all in God's image, that we are all God's children. Isn't that what your Bible told us? Isn't that what your Bible said, that we are all God's children? We're all made in God's image? If that's the case, then why do we treat each other so differently? Why do we treat each other so differently? My first language is Mi'kmaq. My language tells me how we function, what we did things, what we had back then. Your language, English language, is a terrible language. You have all them hurtful, hateful words, slangs that you use on people of different lifestyles. I'm not going to utter them words, we all know what they are. In my culture, my language, we don't have them words. We don't have them terrible, hurtful words. They're not in my language. And you know why? I'll tell you why. People like you here today, who live a different lifestyle, were revered, they were respected by our people because you guys were the people that administered medicine. You were the medicine people, the shamans, the gatherers that kept our people healthy and strong. You played a very important role in my culture to move to allow us to survive 12,500 years. And in closing, my intention was not to come here today to speak. I just was going to sneak in and just to show my support. But the mayor is very smart. She knows when she asked either me or Stephen that we both arrived. It was 2-for-1 sale. And in case you didn't know, Stephen is my son. I'm very proud. I raised my children to be tolerant, to speak up and speak out against social injustices. That's how I raised my children.
I stand before you a proud Mi'kmaq. I stand before you honored and humbled to be here. I also stand here before you a proud supporter of our two-spirited brothers and sisters. The time of resentment, fear, bullying, and the unknown is the past. The time for pride, acceptance, education, and support is now. On behalf of WEKOOMA'Q Chief and Council, we hope that you all come to our parade and march when we have ours in our community of WEKOOMA'Q First Nation. And in my closing note, I just want to say, I'll always stand behind my sister, I'll always stand behind my cousin, I'll always stand behind my friends, and most importantly, I'll always stand behind all of you today.
Whether standing together or marching together through the streets of Port Hawkesbury, one thing is clear: the turnout for the first ever Strait Area Pride March exceeded expectations of both organizers, participants, and town officials alike, and planning is already underway for the second annual Strait Area Pride Rally coming next year in June to celebrate Pride Month 2021. In Port Hawkesbury for Telile 24/7, I'm Adam Cooke.